Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the Beyond Bitcoin show. Today is February the 15th, 2020. Strong hand. Long-term thinking. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. Unconfiscatable. Strive for greatness. Personal responsibility is the new counterculture. Deferral gratification. Conviction. Golden age. We're going to talk about that all of today on this show. A lot of it. Hey, it's late at night, but I'm here. That's conviction. You get a new show here every day. Friday was This Week in Bitcoin. Oh, man. American Hodl was on. Vlad was on. Adam was on. It was quite a show. Check it out. Link to below. DisruptMeister.com. Follow me on Twitter at TechBalt. Hello, my elite friends. If you've got questions, I've got answers. Type in Bitcoin Meister in the chat or send a super chat right now. As you can see, different location now. I'm in LA. For those who aren't caught up, we're going to talk about how I got to LA in a second on the Flixbus. But I do want to say that this Thursday, I'm going to be speaking at Long Beach. That's linked to below. Thanks to Tone Vase, I will be in Las Vegas at his event on Saturday, a week from today, at the D Unconfiscatable. That is linked to below. Also, a lot of you have said, Adam, YouTube can be a pain. YouTube has given people problems. I like to see you. I know you're on a podcast at sportsmeister.com that is popular, and many are listening to that right now. Pound that like button if you're, you can't do that if you're listening to it, but pound that like button if you're watching this. But people have suggested BitChute, and I have said I am at BitChute. It's linked to below, but I have to tell everyone, all the people that are shouting, "Oh, go to BitChute! It's the next big thing." There's a minority of the time, but a large minority of the time, you upload your video there and it never gets processed. That's a pain. YouTube, it always works. Okay. It's better with the uploading. I mean, so it's more than just that YouTube, everyone's watching YouTube that makes it better. It's a better interface. BitChute is not in the major leagues if you can't upload your video there, like 99.9% of the time, then YouTube, you can do that. And that's a big thing when you're creating content. You think you're uploading your video to BitChute, and it ends up processing for 2 days and never gets uploaded. You just have to do it again. And so for all of you yelling about try BitChute, try this, try that. Well, are they as reliable as YouTube? There's a reason YouTube is number one. There's many reasons that YouTube is number one, I guess, is what I'm trying to say here. All right, so personal story. You guys all like personal stories. Well, first of all, I want to say that February 15th, and I think I mentioned this before, is a lucky day of mine. Some great things, some good things have happened to me on this day before, and two specific things in my past when I did not value my wealth in Bitcoin. I just want to point this out for the history buffs out there. Both on two long-term girlfriends of mine. I started going out with them on February the 15th of various years. And that's the day after Valentine's Day, right? So, so that's pretty good, man. That's pretty, I mean, most dudes, they spend a lot of money on Valentine's Day, and they don't get anything. I don't know what I did on those. Well, I know what I did on one of those Valentine's days, but I didn't spend a lot of money. And the 15th, I did pretty darn well. So I always have a big smile on my face on February 15th, looking back on those fun days of some youthful innocence there. No doubt about it. I say value your wealth in Bitcoin. I definitely value your wealth in Bitcoin. But if you ever value your wealth in the ladies or anything, there definitely are fond, you could have some fond memories out there. But luckily I ended up in one piece after all those experiences. And again, it's just stories now. It's just stories. There's a lot of things you can get into in life. How about that, people? and try to get into things that make you happy, not just to fit in and to make some other people happy. Okay, moving on. Better yourself, people. Better yourself. Pound that like button. I want to talk about the, let's talk about the golden age real quick before I talk about my El Paso story. And so they have this little small, someone made this really small little camera, and I hope they can use this camera when they send something to Alpha Centauri one day to take pictures of our nearest star to our solar system. And it didn't say that in this article, but here, this is the OmniVision OV63, and this is linked to below. Everything I talked to about is linked to below. The OmniVision OV6948, the world's smallest camera, has just famously entered the Guinness Book of World Records, measuring just 0.575 by 0.575 by 0.232 millimeters. It's good for 40,000 pixel color images using a RGB bareback side illuminating chip. Dude, hey man, we are making progress. Keep dreaming big, people. Throw that, get us to Alpha Centauri. We want to see pictures. And this would be good. People are trying to make these solar powered, very small, they're laser powered sails, solar sails, whatever you want to call them, little teeny satellites that you can send real fast to Pluto, to really far away places. And Alpha Centauri is the goal, but they need to be incredibly lightweight, and you want to take pictures with them, so you have to have a very, very little camera. So this is one step closer to that, I was thinking. Now, I want to point out to everyone, what is this? This is a white Thai coconut. I never had one before 2 days ago. You got to really rip into these things, like cut into them, but it's good stuff. There's not much coconut flesh inside the white jelly stuff. It tastes pretty good if you're into that. Nice liquid. I don't drink the coconut water actually. It's sugary and everything. I'm not into sugar. I did. I put some in my hair. I put some on my body. I'm going to put some in my hair. I bathed with it a little bit. Washed because I take a cold shower every day. I threw some of the coconut water on me. I guess some got in my hair, but in the past I put some in my hair, not from the regular coconut. Anyway, try new things. If you like coconuts, it's fun. It's fun to if you never had a coconut, try it out. The point is the coconut flesh, very healthy for you. Very, very healthy for you. There's a health tip of the day, and you can't hear the water. If you can't hear the water inside of it, that means it's good still. So I've been told. Okay, you got a little show and tell. So that's a health tip. Here's an Airbnb tip for you. If you're staying at an Airbnb, you got to keep those places clean. Definitely, you don't want to leave too much of a footprint, right? So one thing I do, I just use one plate, one set of utensils, one glass. I actually have my trusty water bottle, of course. And so every day you clean them off and everything. So you don't want to pile up stuff you can do this with your regular life too. Just use one of each and clean it off each day. So you don't have a pile of stuff. The other thing is, and I do this wherever I go, don't wear shoes inside of a place. You don't want to track dirt. It's filthy to do that. That's what in Asian countries, they don't wear shoes in their places. And I think in Iceland, they do the same. I've been in the Airbnb in Iceland. It says, don't wear shoes in here. And of course, I never wear shoes. But that's just a tip for people that do wear shoes in their place. If you don't, it drags in mud and dirt, and it's easier to clean up and sweep when you're done with the place. And that's what you want to be very efficient. I am very, very clean when I'm at my Airbnbs. Very, very clean. You you don't leave a footprint. You don't need to use everything in the darn Airbnb. I don't even watch the darn TVs in the Airbnb. I don't touch certain things. You don't want to leave fingerprints. It's easier that way. Okay. So let me see how we doing over here. Oh, lovely, lovely. Okay, doing well on time. So, and if you got questions, type in Bitcoin Meister or do the super chat. Remember, it's beyond Bitcoin. So we're obviously, that's why we're talking about subject matters that go way beyond Bitcoin. John in California says, hello, Adam. What's up? By you right now. I love this neighborhood. I was going to save this till the end. But I'm in Orthodox Jewish neighborhood, and it's off of La Brea, south of Santa Monica. I've mentioned this many times. I don't know what they call the neighborhood. There's a few hipsters around. There's some hipster places. It's not West Hollywood. It's south of West Hollywood. It's great. I mean, it's safe as anything. And I can run the East Hollywood, makes me feel it's a little rougher over there. I can run the West Hollywood, see all the guys over there. For those who like guys, that West Hollywood's a place to go for that. So you got Orthodox Jewish, and then you got the guys of West Hollywood. So you got all sorts in LA. But I can run to what's the other, Silver Lake, which is hipster central. Run down the Koreatown, whatever, man. Near everything. Ken Bozak says the new facial he likes my new facial hair. Well, it's a temporary thing. But I just wanted to grow up the mustache a little bit, do some fun things. BTC. So yes, whatever this neighborhood, it's got a couple names, this neighborhood, because what do they call it? They call it Fairfax a little bit because I can run over to Fairfax. Also, Fairfax is parallel but west of, and I can run to Beverly Hills. Everyone knows Beverly Hills, right? All over the world. I can run to the Price is Right, which is right off of Fairfax. The CBS studios. There are all sorts of studios you can run to. I run by all these things. I see them. It's commonplace. This is LA, man. It's so many unique beasts out there. I haven't seen any homeless tents. I'm going to jinx myself in this area lately, but I probably can find some soon. So John says my office is off of La Cienega, Pacific Design Center, Melrose, and San Vicente. Yeah, that's nearby. That's near Beverly Hills too. That's west of here. So I haven't run by there in quite some time. There's another Orthodox Jewish street that's parallel to Melrose, but south of Melrose. And the neighborhood, they named the neighborhood after that too. Fairfax I forgot the name of the street. The Chabad, the huge Chabad is on there. They got a big school there, something that looks like 770. Anyway, okay, I've rambled on too much. People don't want to hear about LA and everything, but I enjoy it here. So moving on, we're going to talk about, hang on, I lost my notes here. How did I get here? How the heck did Adam get? So I took the Flixbus, right? And I have to say Flixbus is dirtier than Megabus and the other one. Well, let's see the other darn one. I can't even think of it. Anyway, it's not as, it's cheaper though at times. And so it goes to different places than Megabus and why can't I think of the other one's name? Darn it. Anyway, so Flixbus and they have a little area. There's not as many seats because there's this little closed off area where one of the drivers sleeps or both of them sleep, and it's probably filthy in there too. The bathroom looked kind of filthy, but they stop along the way. From El Paso to here is like 14 hours. I don't even know what it was. It was overnight. So I'm supposed to get to the bus stop before the bus is supposed to leave at 4:40 p.m. on Tuesday. And it just so happens that the day ends up the worst weather day in El Paso. And I knew it was going to be like 44 degrees. So that's fine with me, 44 degrees. And it was raining. And so I'm cool with that. I'm waiting for the bus. And another guy's waiting for the bus. He said it should have already been here. Usually gets here earlier. It was like 4:20 by that point. I wasn't too worried. It started to get cold, though. It started really dropping in temperature. And but it's raining. And as it's bound to get here soon. Why is it late? And they don't have a formal bus stop. You're standing outside of a tire shop. This is how they cut costs, which is great. That's fine with me. You get what you're paid for. So 440 comes along. It's not there yet. And the temperature has dropped so much at this point that it's snowing. It's snowing in Mexico at this point because I'm right. The stop is right across the street from Mexico. You see the bridge in the Mexico. So it's snowing in Mexico. It's snowing in El Paso. This doesn't happen very often, but I'm there. And this other guy actually got into a car, I guess, of a family member. So I'm the only one. And then there are two other people standing out there. And it's getting nasty. I mean, it was nasty. It was wet snow. It was blowing. And I had this little umbrella. And man, it was bad. And then the guy comes out of his car. I mean, a lot of time is passing by. And he said, I just got a text. I don't have a phone. He just got a text. He said, because of the weather, they're late. They're late because of the weather. It's going to be 20 minutes to half hour more. And at that point, I just ran into the tire shop. I just ran into this garage. I mean, has nothing to do with the bus. And the guy starts speaking Spanish to me. And I said, sorry, man. He said, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. So the guy was very kind. He let me stand in his tire shop. But the bus was an hour late. It ended up being an hour late. And and then it got to LA about 3 hours late because there was snow on that route in quite a bit of New Mexico. There was snow on the route. So I guess that was slow. I kept falling asleep. And so I got here. I got to LA. This is what you get when you travel the bus. Can I recommend Flixbus? Well, I recommend it with a warning. It's cheap, but it definitely got me here. So there's my little story. It's conviction. I was so happy because by the time we got to LA, it's sunny, beautiful in LA. It was just freaking snowing in El Paso. Unbelievable. Okay, so there's your little story of the day. You can, if you're not watching this live, I hope you fast play this at 2x. Let me make sure I didn't skip. Okay. Now, there are four companies that $1 trillion valuation companies that met at the White House with President Trump. Apple, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. It's linked to below. He says, you have MAGA, the $1 trillion club. And so a lot of people thought they think it's a bad thing if Trump ever heaps praise on $1 trillion tech club. I think it's great. I think it's showing people aim high, be proud of being rich, be proud of being the $1 trillion innovating company. A lot of people are envious of Apple, Amazon, Google, Microsoft. They have problems with them. These are American-based companies on the cutting edge of technology that have changed this world in such amazing, amazing ways. We use them, every minute of the day, basically, you're using one of them. And something in my mouth there. We use them every day. And politically, I think all of their bosses don't like Trump. They met with Trump. That's fine. I'm not a fan of politicians. But if a politician is going to point out greatness to the people of his country, that's good. I think that's good. We should all be proud. We should all aim high. We should all aim to be trillionaires. And so people ripping on him or ripping on those companies, I'm not with you, man. I'm for success and innovation, and that's what those companies are. The genius behind them, and another reason, the strength of America, that there still is freedom in this country where those $4 trillion companies can exist, and let's get more. Let's become trillionaires in the Bitcoin sense here. Let's get some Bitcoin people up there. But as I say, individuals out there, you individuals that are Bitcoin people, you strive for that greatness and get there. Pound that like button. So let's talk about the opposite in terms of politics. Well, first of all, let me check out the chat real quick. All right, no, we still got the same things over there. No, not Greyhound. I don't. What's the other bus? It's Megabus and it's red. The other one is red. and I can't. It's killing me that I can't think of the name. It's east. It's a lot of East Coast. It's East Coasty. I can't. What is the other cheap bus? I'm looking. I'm looking it up now. It's killing me. I can't think of a simple name of the other bus. There's Megabus, and I think Greyhound actually owns it. But they're it's unbelievable. I'm drawing a blank on it. It's to a point where I have to look it up, and I still can't get it. And it should be jumping into my head. It's Megabus, Flixbus, which a lot of you don't know yet, but again, I just told you what happens with Flixbus. And all of them, most of them don't have formal bus stops anyway. Okay, so I can't think of the name. I'll have to link to it below after the show. It is incredibly frustrating that I can't, with all this freaking brain power out here, I can't think of the. I mean, I can remember the winners of the World Series since 1956. I can't remember the darn name of the bus that I traveled to Philadelphia on from Baltimore. Oh, God, it's from White Marsh. Oh, well, that's actually the one from White Marsh is the Megabus. But okay, moving on. So the controller of Baltimore since 1995. Now, the controller in a city in a United States city is supposed to be in charge of all these financial aspects of the city. Okay, auditing. This Joan Pratt has been in power for four different decades now. 90s, the zeros, the 10s, and now the 20s. And she just gets voted in automatically. It's crazy. And now she owned a business with a boutique with the mayor of Baltimore that just had to resign with Catherine Pugh. And Catherine Pugh laundered $20,000 worth of money through the boutique. And that she co-owned with the comptroller of Baltimore, Joan Pratt. Now, Joan Pratt is supposed to be an accountant, and she says she doesn't know anything about the money. The business was so shady that they were rarely open. It was by appointment only. They only made $100,000 one year, and 20,000 of it was this laundered money. Wasn't even money. It was a bribe money or contribution money that the mayor got, and she tried to hide it through the corporation. But Joan Pratt, who's supposed to be an accountant, doesn't know anything about it, doesn't know what the company, she's making up all these excuses. This is who's in charge of Baltimore. That's who was in charge of Baltimore. She's still in charge. And only now, people are like questioning, like, well, what did she know? When did she know it? But it's just amazing. This is who's in charge of the finances of Baltimore. The comptroller is involved in a business where money was being laundered with the mayor who just got kicked out, who had to resign, who she was friends with, she's financial partners with. This is why governments can't run financially. It's a lot to ask for a government to be financially sound. Now, I do know that Bill Henry is running against, and I know Bill Henry personally, so vote for him if you're in Baltimore. I guess he should be able to do a better job than someone who gets into partnerships with a mayor who's completely corrupt in a business that seems like it's kind of fake, where $20,000 is being laundered through it, and she has no clue, even though she's an accountant and she's a partner in the place. And still, no one can name the name of that bus. I can't. It's Megabus. What's the other name? People, hook me up there. Ken, you're watching this. You should know it, even though I can't think of it. But your short-term memory is not very good either. My short-term memory isn't good. I know that I'm just drawing a blank. Sometimes you draw a blank on the Bolt bus. It's called. There, I remembered it. Thank God. Bolt bus. I'm just thinking red bus, and it's Bolt bus. It just came to me. All right. Pound that like button for Adam. It's late. It's 11:40 at night here. Now let's talk about more about politics here. And politics is a big waste of time, indeed. But there actually is some innovation on the presidential level going on by Bloomberg and by Tom Steyer. The campaign is evolving, what a campaign really is. So I'm a guy who is not going to be biased against billionaires. See above what I said. And so Bloomberg and Steyer are billionaires, and some people just like, oh, we can't vote for a billionaire. It's wrong for a billionaire to fund his own campaign. No, it's his own money. If someone earned $1 billion, let them spend. If they want to blow their money on a political campaign, that's great. That's just giving money back to the people, to people who are being productive for them in their eyes. So here is, what does this say? Bloomberg campaign paying micro influencers for content. And this is something if you watch, I think last week's Beyond Bitcoin show, I said that Steyer was basically paying people to work for his campaign, to vote for him. So Bloomberg takes it to another level here. And there were people with Instagram pages that he was paying, his campaign was paying, to pretend to talk with him and pretend to be friends with him. It's creative stuff. It actually is. It's just a whole new level of campaigning. I find no problem with it at all. If they want to waste their money paying micro influencers to pretend to be friends with them, then so be it. If they want to blow their money that way, but all sorts of people saying it's unfair, it's wrong. It's innovation in a space. Politics is not a very smart space, but they're being creative there. They're being creative. And it makes me wonder, and Steyer is doing things too. And Bloomberg is not focusing on the 4 first states. He's focusing on the Super Tuesday states, and it seems to be paying off. He's going up in the polls. That's something totally new, totally different. Steyer is focusing on South Carolina. We're going to talk about that in a second, and is really hurting Biden. So these well-moneyed guys that people kind of discounted at first are now playing a bigger role in this thing. And it's different. I give them credit. They put their money where their mouth is. And what it makes me wonder is it just their people that are coming up with these ideas? Or are they coming up with these ideas? And are they that creative that they would run the country in a more creative fashion that reflects what they're doing in terms of campaigning? I don't know. It's an open question. Now, again, don't rely on these people to change your future. You change your own future. It would be nice if the country could stop being as inefficient as it is at the federal level, though. B. Ruck says, hey, Adam, it's been a while and I can't sleep. Just jumping in here. Which country state are you in tonight? I mean, yeah, I guess you are just jumping in here. Remember, always check out the links below. First word that I have in all of my notes section is where I am. And tonight it says Los Angeles, California, B-Rock. So, all right. And again, I do urge people when I do these shows, and whenever you watch on YouTube, just don't blindly sit there and drool and watch the next video that comes up there. Think and read and comprehend what people are saying. So it's very important, or else you are just a slave to the algorithm. You are nothing but an 80%er that way. No offense, B-Rock or anything, but you just reminded me. I know you jumped in the middle of the show and everything, but there's just so many people that do not. They'll watch a whole show and they'll ask me, where are you? I mean, it's the first word. And there's so many, well, I was going to say there's so many smart content creators out there. There are smart content creators, and those people give you so much information in the notes section, and they talk about so many things. You can't just blindly sit there and drool and you're not going to learn from these things. I mean, you might as well watch a stripper video or something like that. And get off on it. I mean, it's a total waste of your time to watch videos with thinking man's content in it and not like read what's below it, the explanation, and like say, oh, Adam just mentioned Yaron Brook. I should look up who this guy is, or these people that Adam are mentioning, I should look up who they are. You just don't sit there. Don't be passive. Don't be a passive viewer of the smart YouTube videos that you watch. You actually, try to understand, try to learn, try to comprehend. Many people, there's no listening comprehension that watch my videos, and it's a disgrace. I mean, to them. I mean, and then they're the people that blame, oh, why am I so far behind? Why are so many people more successful? I mean, that's how you get successful. You actually listen, you understand, you interact. You just don't sit there. You're in motion. It's in motion is not just about being physically in motion. It's about being mentally in motion, and not taking the easy way and just listening to what YouTube says to what to look to next. But it's probably what YouTube is saying to watch after mine is some mindless fancy set and graphics video. You got to actually take the 1 second and read the stuff below. All right, so let's see, Bloomberg. Did we talk about? Okay, so Yang is gone now. Yang is gone. I was going to vote for Yang when I'm back in Baltimore. Not that it matters that much who you vote for, especially when you're in the state of Maryland in a Democrat. Well, in a Democratic primary, I guess it makes a difference in the state of Maryland. In the general election in the state of Maryland, it doesn't matter who you vote for because the Democrat wins every time, for president at least. But there were so many people out there that said Yang. Oh, Yang, the polls are wrong about Yang. These blind worshipers of Yang. I mean, he's an all right guy. But they were like, he's so wrong. The numbers, you'll see, he's going to take it to the convention. And so Yang dropped out after New Hampshire, and he said, I'm a math guy, and the math doesn't add up. So there you go. There's no conspiracy or anything like that. The numbers were right. People didn't get behind him. Say what you will. I mean, that's up to the people. They didn't get behind. So I said I was going to vote for Yang because he was the smartest one. So now who should I vote? What should my statement be? I think my statement is going to be, I am not against billionaires. I think I'll just vote for Steyer probably because that'll just, it'll show in Maryland he got one more vote. Maybe that'll make a little difference. He'll get 3% instead of 2%. And it just shows that billionaires are all right. Billionaires have every right to run for president as Pete Buttigieg does or Andrew Yang does. It really doesn't matter that much. But any suggestions? And by the way, Tulsi will be gone by then. I know all you guys who just worship her because she's hot are going to suggest Tulsi. But I'm going to statement for my one vote. But don't worry about it too much because it is a big waste of time. And I will say this: I don't know that much about Steyer, other than he is a billionaire, and his father was Jewish at one point. Tom Steyer is not Jewish though. Okay. Steyer's mother is not Jewish, so he is not Jewish, and he's Episcopalian or something like that. I don't know what he says he is. But a lot of haters like to say that he's Jewish, of course. Let's say so. Okay, I said that the campaigns were innovating in their own way there. Oh, so when you type in Andrew Yang into Google, a Tom Steyer ad comes up. That's how much money that dude is spending. Oh, God. And yeah, people love to scapegoat the rich. I do not scapegoat the rich. I am not a blamer here. I am not a scapegoater. What did we have here? Oh, Wall Street Journal article. Credit card debt in the U.S. rises to a record $930 billion. So yeah, people are $930 billion in debt to credit cards. They value their wealth in dollars. And so I again, I'm going to have to remind you people worship the dollar that much that they're $930 billion in debt in the United States, almost $1 trillion in debt on credit cards. So, and they're going to have to pay that back in dollars. They are dollar centric. They're not all of a sudden switching to the yuan. And the United States consumer is the most powerful consumer on the planet, consumes the most in debt, the most hooked on the dollar. Now, Bitcoin can still exist in this world too, by the way. But there's a lot of you, all those people are going to wake up to Bitcoin. No, they're not. But at the same time, US dollar isn't going to go anywhere. It is the world reserve currency. For you people, they're like, oh, they just keep printing it. They keep printing it and printing it. And people keep wanting more and more of it, to use it more and more. So they're continuing to value, they're hooked on valuing their wealth in dollars, but they're stuck in debt to it. So even if some of them are like, I don't like that the US is printing all these dollars, tough luck. They're hooked in it. They owe them in it. And most of them don't care. Most of them love it. And they love the system where they can be that much in debt and keep on getting their fancy big screen TVs. So I am not a doomer. Like so many people are like, oh, the dollar. People have been talking about the dollar collapse for so long. Look, the opposite is happening. People are becoming more and more in debt with that dollar that is being inflated every year. It's worshipped. It's loved across this world. The American way is loved across this world. The American innovators change this world. They have $4 trillion companies that dominate this planet. It's not, and that's all based around the dollar. They all use the dollar. That's their thing. So, I mean, Russia is going to the gold standard. Russia is nothing compared to the American consumer. Russia is nothing compared to Microsoft. You guys are watching too much Hillary Clinton or CNN if you think Russia is something. You hate America that much that you think Russia going to gold standard, which has been a rumor for so long, can do anything to the United States, can do anything to the United States dollar, can do anything to the creativity and freedom that United States corporations have and the individuals have, the opportunity that we have in this country. It won't go away. American dominance, American creativity. I've been all around this world. They listen to American music. Hollywood dominates. I'm in Hollywood right now. It's not changing. And I think you got to be a little sick in your head and obsessed with doom if you think all of a sudden, Russia, China, whose people can't even wipe their own butts and are spreading a disease all over the place. Yeah, that's how the disease is spread. They defecate and that's how it's being spread. Why isn't it spreading in the United States? By the way, that virus, if you put that virus name in your YouTube thing, you get demonetized right away. I actually had that name of the virus in, I talked when Ty Zen was on the This Week in Bitcoin show a week ago. The way I set up the show, I put that, the name of the virus in the, you have to label it. You guys can't see the labels, but you label it below. And since I do the This Week in Bitcoin show the same way every week, that label got carried over to this Week's in Bitcoin show, which had nothing to do with the virus whatsoever. And so when I'm setting up the show, immediately YouTube tells me, before the show even went live, before my This Week in Bitcoin show even went live this week, it got demonetized because in the description, and then I erased the name of the virus. They wouldn't monetize it again until 24 hours later. I'm not complaining. I'm just giving you guys a warning because when you play the YouTube game, this is what you get. That's the algorithm. I'm not a slave to that algorithm. I'm not dependent on the $5 that I lost. Okay. Some people are. But that's just, I want to point that out about the mindless YouTube algorithm. It's mindless in a lot of ways. It guides you to the most popular mindless stuff. But at the same time, in your description, if you make a little mistake for 1 second, it penalizes you. It's wild. It's wild. All right. So Tom Steyer, I was talking about, we'll talk about the virus again in a second, I think. But yeah, don't worry about it in the Western nations, people. We have different sanitary conditions here. We have different types of toilets. We wash our hands and we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. In China, on the other hand, it seems like it is spreading quite a bit. And but I mean, people fear China taking over the world, and everyone wants to be like China. You want to be like that? You want to be like that? It's silly. It's a joke. But there's so many people have this America hatred in them because they're bitter because they themselves are not successful. I mean, they get caught up in this Bernie Sanders type of nonsense. Like, we're the villain. America's the villain. America's at fault for why you are a loser. No, you're at fault for why you're a loser. America gives you the opportunity to be productive. Okay, you can do things here that you can't do in other countries. I mean, is it a total capitalism? No, it's not total capitalism. Is it the best system that's out there right now? Yes. Yeah, definitely one of the best systems in terms of freedom and in middle class. And I talked about this last week. Middle class people able to be successful. People who want to succeed. People with goals. People who value achievement. This is the best country to be in. I mean, one of the best countries to be in. And that's another reason why the dollar is not going anywhere, because the current fiat currency is wrapped around a story too. You have to believe in it. And everyone believes in America. Deep down, even if they want to hate it, they believe. I mean, they see the truth. They want to come here. People running across the desert in Mexico to get here, trying to get here all sorts of different ways. And I'm not saying to be blindly patriotic and go out and be in the army. That's silly. Why does any American have to even be in the army? We don't need an army anymore. We should have a machine army. We have the technology now where we can just have machines doing our drones doing everything we need them to do. But they're guys. Some of it's blind worship. You cannot blindly worship a flag or a country. You got to look up for yourself. But then there's some people that take the U.S. Army as a welfare program because, in a sense, it is a welfare program. You get paid to be in it. They pay for your college, but nothing's exactly free there. You have to sometimes they'll send you to war zones in filthy Middle East countries where you're exposed to who knows what in that desert, and you come back and you have cancer and you die, and it wasn't really free, was it? But no one has to do that. There's people that yell at Ben Shapiro when Ben Shapiro gives a political view, and they're like, why don't you enlist? No, why should he enlist? He's smart. Why? He doesn't want to get sick. Why should he die? Why does he want to die? What's the point? We're the best country on earth. We don't need people sacrificing their lives anymore. It's nonsense. We have machines. What you should be saying is like, why should we have an army program anymore? Why are my tax funds funding a program that's sending men to foreign countries when we can just send machines and we can just sit in the office and operate drones comfortably? I mean, that's what you should be asking. All right, so and it would cut costs. Now we're going to get back to we're doing a lot of politics today, aren't we? Let's see if we got any other questions here. Now we got guys in Australia. All right. Let's see. The unemployment. Okay, they're talking about Steyer in this South Carolina article that I linked to below. The unemployment rate in South Carolina has probably dropped an entire percentage point thanks to the Tom Steyer campaign, said Tyler Jones, a Democratic strategist based in South Carolina. Every YouTube video that comes on in South Carolina has a Tom Steyer ad in front of it. And he says things that every Democrat agrees with. Okay. Gerald Loudbot, an Atlanta-based Democratic political strategist, noted the success of Tom Steyer's state operations, which is comprised almost entirely of native South Carolinians. So he's paying people in South Carolina to vote for him. That's better than advertising, he said. Johnny Cordero, chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party Black Caucus and Steyer endorser, agreed. The days have gone where you can come into South Carolina and bring your crew from D.C. and ask Black South Carolinians to be your volunteers, Cordero said. So he's saying if you got to pay Black South Carolinians to work for you now. Don't bring people from D.C. and ask Black South Carolinians to volunteer with you. Pay us. Okay. So some say that Tom Steyer is renting the Black vote. Well, they're the landlords, okay? If he's renting the Black vote, then they're the landlords, and it's up to them to be money that they get, okay? So I have no problem if people are getting money from this freewheeling political dude who's doing things a different way. Now, they're getting that money. I hope they can be productive with that money because voting is it's not like a godsend. It's not the most important thing to do. It's not like you're praying. It's not like your children. It's just voting. And if you need some money to vote or whatever, then I guess, hey, there you go. Tom Steyer's your man. But you're the landlord there. Okay. He's renting you. You're the landlord. So you be productive with that money, dude. And you change your life because he's not changing your life. If you're going into this saying, okay, I'm going to take Tom Steyer's money and I'm going to change my life with this. Let him do what he's going to do. If he'll get my vote, maybe he won't even get my vote. But I'm going to take his money and I'm going to change. Then you're on the right path right there. You're definitely on the right path. But if you're like, yeah, okay, I'm taking his money. I'm going to blow it on some a big screen TV. I'm going to wait till 2024 till the next guy pays me, and I'm just going to keep doing this over and over and over again, and not improve my own life. And maybe one of these guys is going to improve my life. Then you're terrible. Personal responsibility is new counterculture. Okay, Jordan Peterson update. Apparently, Jordan Peterson got real sick. He got addicted to drugs. I wish him well. He's ThinkSpot. I linked to ThinkSpot. I was on their waiting list. It's supposed to be, like a competitor with well, who knows? Facebook's just a social media competitor where you can write your own stuff. I was on the waiting list, and then they wrote me and said, hey, sign up now. But I haven't gotten to do it yet. And that was a week ago. I just haven't found time to do it. So people, if you think Spot is getting closer to becoming a reality for everyone, I guess if you're on their wait list, perhaps you also have been contacted now. Check your email. I've got nothing more to say about that, but some people have asked about that before. Wook Chewy said, thank you, Bitcoin Meister, for the daily strong hand. Well, thank you, Wook Chewy. I hope you like this show goes a little bit beyond the strong hand, beyond Bitcoin. Pound that like button. And it's interesting to see how social media, how some of the candidates can change the whole social media approach to politics and really get into the emotional wheelhouse of some people, which is sad that people base their emotion. That so many people are emotional that they make their financial decisions based on that. So they think they're making politics as a financial decision for them in terms of they think this guy's going to solve their problem, their financial problems. They got to solve their own financial problems. So they can be emotionally triggered by this new social media techniques that these guys are using. All right. So the virus. I talked about the virus. Yeah. All right. I said enough about the virus. I said it early. Airbnb tip, another Airbnb tip, something I've done here in Los Angeles. If you stay in a place once and you really get to know the people and you trust the people, you get off the Airbnb platform with them. You make deals off of Airbnb. And it's cheaper because Airbnb charges, there's all sorts of fees they add in there. And this is only with someone that you've stayed with and you really got to trust them, that they're not going to provide you lower quality. Because when you do it through Airbnb, there's a protection, there's a trust level. You know your money's not going to get stolen. But so here in LA, where I've stayed now, my third time staying here, I don't do it through Airbnb. I do it through them. They're great people. Great people. They're part of Chabad also. All right, so there's a little tip for you. It gets. If you're staying at an Airbnb over and over, and the people that host these Airbnbs, these people didn't do that. But I've been at other Airbnbs where they leave their business card in a very prominent location with their so you get all their private information, so you don't have to rely on the Airbnb platform to contact them anymore. You've got their so there's some that do it subtly. They'll leave their card, and then you can figure it out from there. They don't want to be on air. They don't want to do business through Airbnb either, because they can get a better deal. They don't have to pay the Airbnb fees and the credit card fees, et cetera, et cetera. All right. So, oh man, this show has gone long. It's already past 12. We're almost done, I think. Internet of beefs. I forgot who made up this term, Internet of beefs. I think a lot of people have used it. You've got a beef with someone. That's a terminology you're all familiar with. And over social media, it is so true, especially Twitter. It's such a waste of time. People are just beefing with each other. And I think these social media beefs, it's a way for people to release the anger related to their scapegoating of others for their problems, okay? So let's say you're a Democrat, you're angry at Trump, and so you're blaming the Republicans for all your problems. So you're getting a beef with Republicans, and you just waste all your time with these beef battles. It's the internet of beefs. You're using Facebook, Twitter, just to get into arguments, and you're feeling better about yourself. It's sickening. It's sickening. This is why you don't scapegoat and blame. It's your phone fault that you got problems. It's not the Republicans' fault. It's not Donald Trump's fault. It's yours. You don't need to beef with anyone to make yourself feel better. You don't need to be a blamer. You don't need to be a victim. But this is the world we live in today, the internet of beefs, where it's glorious to be a victim. It's glorious to get into useless battles and to scapegoat others for your problems. Personal responsibility is the new counterculture. I mean, Scott Adams just said in like his latest video, he gave a quick little 10-minute video. And all it was like, this is going to change your life, people. It's some of you already know this. You don't have a victim mentality. You change the people around you. You change yourself. You don't let other people change you. You either convey that you can change the world, or you let the world change you. And you don't want to be on that passive side. You want to be the one giving the aggressive side. It's like it's being a victim of the world and other people, or it's being a person who changes. And for me, I mean, that's all I preach here. But I guess it's not so obvious for some people. And he said the same thing. He said, some of you this is going to be obvious for, but some it's not. Well, for me, it's darn obvious. And I hope if you've been paying attention to this show, I think it's obvious for you. Personal responsibility is the new counterculture. If you don't take personal responsibility, you end up a victim. You end up with a victim mentality, and you're not going to be. Trust me, there's guys that became millionaires, billionaires. They didn't have the victim mentality. They went out there and they were in motion. They didn't blame. They didn't scapegoat others. They didn't say, "Oh, this dude's keeping me down. The banks are keeping me down. This one wouldn't give me a loan, so that's it." No. They figured it out. They got it done. Be that person. Figure it out. Get it done. Be in motion. You can do it. Just don't sit there and say, "Oh, this is the end of it." Just like with me, YouTube video gets demonetized for a while. So what? I keep doing the YouTube videos. I keep doing it. I keep I don't say like, "Oh, this is terrible. I'm just not gonna make YouTube videos anymore. I'm gonna change my whole system because something an obstacle got in my way." That's why you need a system. Because if you've got conviction behind your system, obstacles will jump in the way, and you'll just move them aside. You just move the obstacles aside, and you continue with the system. If you don't have a system and an obstacle gets in your way, well, you might just stop. You might change. You just might not be in motion anymore. All right. Here, speaking of in motion, in Israel, there's a company called UBQ Materials. It's linked to below, and there's an article about it below. This is golden age type of stuff, guys. UBQ Materials is taking household waste that would normally end up in landfills and embedding it in liquefied recycled plastic to create a thermoplastic composite bio-based sustainable climate positive material. All right, a lot of buzzwords in there, but basically a way to get rid of trash and reusing it again, and reusing plastic again, and maybe cutting down on emissions, making the world a healthier place. It's something that it's sustainable, and it's good for the environment, and it's pretty cool looking, and it's just becoming publicized right now. So I hope it makes the world a cleaner place and a more efficient place. So good job to those dudes. Linked to below. Yaron Brook, I just mentioned him before. He was talking about that President Trump said that all government buildings should look a certain way, a certain standard should be followed now with all government buildings. They shouldn't be just drab and ugly looking like they were in the 60s and 70s. And Yaron Brook makes a great point. He says, no, they should be as uncomfortable as possible. They should be done as cheap as possible. We shouldn't be encouraging people to work in government buildings. Now, again, for like the Capitol building, for show buildings, for certain like a very teeny museum buildings, okay, but for government worker buildings, which make up the huge bulk of government buildings, okay, he said, and I agree, they shouldn't even be permanent buildings. They should be rented from private facilities, from private ownership, okay? If your government agency needs an office, it should be rented. Or I would say, take it a step further, everyone should be a commuter. They should work from home, okay? We don't need government spaces, but no, they shouldn't be redone. They shouldn't be made nice. They shouldn't be made fancy. They shouldn't exist at all. But if they do have to exist, let them be bad. And if the government is building buildings, then they have to maintain those buildings. That's why Yaron's point of just renting from other people, you don't have to worry about there are no maintenance costs there. You're just paying rental costs. And if you cut down on employees, then you're renting a smaller space. All right. So that's linked to below. You're on Brook is always good. All right, I talked about the great neighborhood that I am in here in LA. That was what I was supposed to talk about at the end of the show. All right, let's see if there are any other questions. No, there are not. All right, guys, be a unique beast. I'm in the home with a unique beast here in America. Los Angeles has got quite a few unique beasts. It's been fun. Maybe I got to do an outdoor video one of these days. Next week is going to be weird because I'm going to be in Las Vegas on Saturday. Who knows what kind of Beyond Bitcoin show you're going to get. But thanks a lot for the people that are up tonight and play this at 2x. If you're watching this taped, I'm glad I got to think of the Bolt Bus name. That was a killer at first, wasn't it? I'm Adam Meister, Bitcoin Meister, Disrupt Meister. I kept it under an hour. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video, check out the links below. Pound that like button, bang that bell button, retweet on Twitter, TechBalt. I've been tweeting out a lot of stuff on Twitter at TechBalt. Tomorrow, back to the One Bitcoin show that you get here every single day. Do check out Friday's This Week in Bitcoin show, though. DisruptMeister.com. It was a blast. See ya. Bye.